Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like that motherfucking smack addict. Bye up. Bye up. And in Menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to it. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all. So that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel. We're going to continue to go up on this channel. And it's all because of you, man. I can give it to you any way you want it. But at the end of the day, unless it's well received, it ain't going nowhere, man. So I appreciate it, and I'm very humble. Thank you. So trip out. This about the Norbeez, man. There's been a lot going on with them. And there's going to continue to be a lot going on with them because people are feeling some type of way. And when I say people, the raza, but even more so, the brothers, the blacks, right? And they have every right to feel disrespected, man. You know, when you go on social media and you start getting too big for your britches, you start becoming complacent or you start becoming comfortable, and you think you can disrespect a whole lot of people and get racial, whether it's misconstrued that way or it is just what it is, man, you're in the wrong. And I can honestly tell you guys that Norbeez was in the wrong. Now, who is Norbeez? A lot of people don't even know who the fuck I'm talking about right now. I barely know who I'm talking about right now. But he was a guy, an individual that worked himself into this YouTube shit. Worked himself into social media. How did he do it? Well, I'm going to explain to you exactly the path he took. He felt that his way in was to highlight and disrespect people like American Cholo and others who he didn't agree with their words. He didn't agree with what they had going on. And so he made his own little channel and continually and aggressively disrespected these guys. Made funny videos about them. Nitpicked every little thing that they said. Clipped, cut, and pasted and AI'd everything to the extreme. To constantly, you know, belittle or ridicule or go against the grain on what they had going on. Now, when it comes to American Cholo, there's a lot of people that don't like Gil for whatever reason. There's a lot of people that have something to say about how he carries himself and what he does. But at the end of the day, he's a grown man with a familia in real life that is just doing his thing. You don't have to like it. You can swipe it. Just like I say about my channel. If you're not trying to hear the words coming out of my mouth, that's cool, man. Without being disrespectful, just push and go find Bigfoot. Go watch something else because it's not for you. But if it is, hearing someone else's opinion, then right here, kick back. I got you. So Norbeez decided to, and this has never been the recipe for social media. I've told so many people so many times, you can't disrespect people constantly and expect to get, you know, what your goal is. You're never going to achieve your goal disrespecting people constantly. It doesn't work out that way. Social media is not built like that. You might get some immediate shine. People might laugh. They might say, oh, this dude's funny. But at the end of the day, they get tired of it and you went from funny to funny style. That's just how it is. Believe me. So now, he worked his way into being invited to a podcast, Rodham Radio podcast with Tony A, which a lot of people are now calling Tony Tranzas or whatever. And I don't know the whole background, the backstory on that. But I know Tony's a controversial figure. No disrespect towards Tony A at all. But I know he's very controversial, stemming all the way back from the Chicano documentary into some allegations that were rather unbecoming by a chick to now what he's doing. And a lot of people, a lot of the raza constantly feel that Tony A is not a good representative for the raza because at the end of the day, he deals more with blacks. Well, I'm here to tell you, man, any person who deals with blacks or browns on any level, I respect. Woods, I respect you too, brothers, right? I respect anyone who will sit down and provide a platform for people to speak their truth and their realisms. Straight up, without baiting them, without instigating, without getting into some conflict, or getting into some business that ain't primarily theirs, right? You got to respect it. So trip out. Because Gil, American Cholo, and Tony A were not seeing eye to eye, and they went from being friend to foe, and you had these two podcasts, Rodham Radio, American Cholo, going at it. Norbeez seen the opportunity to get in where he fit in, and because he felt some type of way about Gil, he jumped over ship and jumped over to Tony A's platform and got hired on as a liaison or whatever he was. He was doing a lot of behind the scenes editing and whatever. This guy, it seemed to me like he was trying to do anything he could do to get in, to get him a little piece of the pumpkin pie, right? So I said, but you forgot the whipped cream. I said, because at the end of the day, what happened is this started to become petty. Other YouTubers became involved. And so people started choosing sides and picking sides. Such is life. That's the way it is. People will choose and pick sides. At the end of the day, you can't convert anyone over to liking you or agreeing with you if they don't agree with you, man. It just is what it is. You can give them all the clutch, all the game, the knowledge they can't get in college, but they don't fucking like you because they don't like the way your tooth shines off the light. It is what it is. So with these two guys going back and forth, Norbeez got a little comfortable in his disrespect of American Cholo, which I see it now. It wasn't that serious. It ain't that serious to go to the streets with it, but you know, you can't disrespect a man constantly and expect him not to clap back or fight back the only way he knows how to. So Norbeez disrespected blacks, or at least that's the footage that was put out there by American Cholo and other podcasters, other YouTubers. He said the word monkey. Okay. Now that word right there, yes, can be misconstrued or taken out of context or taken by what it really is. It's all about the context of the conversation. If he utilized that word to disrespect blacks, then he ain't got nothing coming. Okay? You don't do that. That's being a racist. That's being racial, man. And what are you doing talking about brothers or blacks anyways, period, if you're not them? You know, you could talk about anything you want to as a free man, as a person on YouTube. You could be opinionated, state your facts and your opinions. I hate when the blacks say, hey, stay out of black business, or the browns say, hey, stay out of Mexican business. Come on, bro. Hey, social media is everybody's business. Once you put something out there, people could speak on it. But that still doesn't give you the room to call someone a monkey or disrespect them. Now, in the past, Gil from American Cholo was accused of saying some derogatory things about the black community, about certain individuals. And however he justified it and flipped it was his thing. And he accused Sonny Acosta of saying the N-word behind the scenes, and then at the same time said the N-word, right? So there's a lot of things going on. And what it does is it just makes Mexicans look bad. Like, bro, stop disrespecting the brothers. They ain't doing nothing to you. If there's certain brothers that you don't like for whatever reason, they disrespect Mexicans on a personal note, don't make it about all the blacks, man. Make it about them personally. Get at them. Pick up a phone. Challenge them. Do whatever you want to do. Have a celebrity boxing match, a thumb wrestling match. Play Connect Four. Sink their battleship, humps, chutes and ladders. Whatever it is. But you don't have to disrespect the people as a whole, man. Because let me tell you, the black community is a strong community. And they've always showed a lot of favor for the raza. You might not think it. And there's going to be people, them people are not like us. They don't like us. And yeah, I know. I've been locked up. There are a lot of racial people on both sides, black and brown. But at the end of the day, man, we are all minorities. We are all people struggling, going through the ghettos and the barrios and doing the same old shit, man. So we shouldn't hate each other. If anything, we should work hand in hand to outlive our oppressors, man, and to uplift each other. Doesn't happen. Not everyone has the same ways of thinking. Not everyone has the same morals and values that I do, that were instilled and educated into me. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm here. And that's why I provide a platform to say, man, fuck the nonsense and the bullshit, the gang banging and the this and that, man. Let's get together as a people and make some money. And that's it. Black and brown and white and every other fucking ethnicity there is. There's only one race. So I hate to say races. When people say they're not my race, yes, they are. They're the human race. We're all one race. We just have different cultures and different ethnic backgrounds. There it is. And different pigmentation colors to our skin. For those of you that don't know what it is, refer to the Gunner Almanac and you'll see me like this. But I'll give you real game. Now, Norbeez disrespected the blacks. And the blacks are feeling some type of way about this guy. Now, let's put aside this assault thing that happened. We've all spoken on that. If you haven't seen it, I haven't even seen it. All I seen was this guy going knocking on a door, and the next thing you know, he was beat up from the feet up, right? Jaw everywhere. And did he have that coming? Well, we could argue that all day. People said, well, he's a civilian, he's a resident, he's this, he got taken advantage of. No, when you, as a man, when you go knocking at a man's door, what's on the other side of the door? One never knows, does one? You never know what's on the other side of that door. And so at the end of the day, whether this guy got beat up because he was aggressive or because he was trying to clown, which to me, that's what I think it was. He was on social media like, hey, putting this dude, but you know, behind the door in a rock and a hard place. What did you expect to happen? You think you were just going to punk him? It was going to be like that? You were going to get a sound bite or a sound clip for people to say, oh, that fool didn't answer his door? No. Quite possibly that guy did answer his door and you got what you didn't really think was going to happen. Bam. So now It all stems from the use of the word monkey and disrespect of the blacks. And the blacks are feeling that, and they took it that way. So the word on the curb is there's been a green light put on Norbeez, allegedly, by the black community. Not all, but some that are feeling some type of way, and they voiced their opinion. They're saying, man, because this guy disrespected, if we catch him in traffic, if we catch him, it's all bad. Now, let me tell you two things that is. One is it's dry snitching, period. You don't tell anyone what you're going to do. You just do it. Okay? When you tell on yourself, you're already alerting the authorities that something's going to happen to this guy. So guess what's going to happen? You're giving him the heads up. Okay? Two, here's my thing. He's being given up by the brown man. It seems like there's a lot of brown guys behind the scenes, a lot of raza behind the scenes that are using this guy as a scapegoat and are basically washing their hands of this guy and saying, hey, he said it, let him stand on it, let him deal with it. But at the same time, I come from the old school, and that's why I have Sonny Acosta from the Streets Ain't Loyal. I agree with Sonny. Shout out to Sonny. I respect him. I've met this guy in real life. He's a true warrior for the raza cause. He believes in unity. He believes in his people. There's a lot of his beliefs I commend him on. Okay, and I believe the same things. Well, he don't play the North-South thing. He understands what he represented, what he stood for, his line that was drawn in the sand, and he'd rep that well. And at the end of the day, he's an older gentleman that has decided in this stage in his life, man, to embrace and show canalismo to everybody, and I respect that, But he ain't no sucker, and he has his thing going on, and I agree with him when he said, as far as Norbeez goes, if the brothers want to deal with him, we as a gente should not ever allow our people to be thrown under the bus by our own people to any other ethnic group, like prison. Okay, in prison, it's a hands-off policy when it comes to other groups, whether it's gang or racial. You're never going to see a white man put hands on a black man and the blacks just allow that to happen. You're never going to see a black man put hands on a Mexican, whether it's north or south, and the Mexicans allow that to happen. No, what happens is there's some animosity, some type of turmoil or some confliction between two ethnic groups. The powers that may be, the people who speak for that yarda will talk it out. And if it can't be worked out with communication and there's a breakdown in communication, then it all goes up. Then it all gets lit. Then it goes up like a motherfucker, right? That's just the way it is. Hopefully it doesn't have to be that way. But more 9 times out of 10, it will be. But you'll never see the raza sacrificing their own gente to another ethnic group or vice versa. You think the blacks are going to stand and let fucking Mexicans beat up on a black just because he fucked up? No, they're going to deal with it their way, or they're going to back his play regardless. Unless they have funny charges, then it's open season on everybody. That's just how it goes. So for certain people, podcasters and YouTubers, to be telling the blacks, get him, it's good, he deserves it. With some of these same individuals having a sneaky past, having been accused of some of the same things in their past, why would you do that? I believe what Sonny said when I watched his podcast, I watched his video where he said he backs Norbeez's play. And if there's another ethnic group that wants to go at Norbeez and he's right there in the vicinity, where they're going to just have to get off on both of them. And I agree, man. It's not a black or brown thing. I'm tired of people making it a black versus brown thing. It's one man that opened his big fat fucking mouth and disrespected. And yes, he should have to handle his business, but he shouldn't get jumped on and stabbed and green lighted. When you can't pick and choose. That's selective politicking. There's a lot of Mexicans on YouTube that have disrespected the brothers with derogatory statements like the N-word or, monkey or whatever they've said. None of it's condoned by me. I don't agree. I'm not racial. I had someone yesterday in a live, you disrespected the blacks. You called someone's wife this and that. I didn't you said she looked like Marvelous Marvin Hagler. She does, right? She's ugly, right? I didn't mean it in a way to disrespect like, because she's black. I don't give a fuck if she's white, green, blue, or pink. The bitch is ugly. That's just it. Straight up. That's my opinion on the matter. Oh, you can't be doing that. I did. It just is what it is. You've disrespected me several times. Guess what? Like Lefty Gunplay said, I clap back. And that's it. Do I want to continue that? No, I wouldn't even thought about it unless you mention it. That was in the past. Let's move forward. Now, at the end of the day, that's me. That's what I got going on. But with Norbeez, right? Yes, he did do that. Or I don't know if it was cut and pasted and made to sound like that. I'm hearing two different sides of the story. I'm heard he disrespected the blacks. He felt like he was comfortable around other raza and he can get away with it. I don't know what he was fucking thinking. Now, on the other side, I've also heard that it was cut and pasted and it was taken out of context, that he wasn't saying that towards blacks. He was basically saying you're being a monkey in the workforce. People are being a monkey in the workforce, working for a man, kind of like the Wicked Witch. She had her fucking, her people that did it. They just happened to be monkeys and they were flying around and doing her bidding. So basically what he was saying was they were doing the bidding. I'm not here to justify it and cover up for that man. I don't know him. If he's got an ass whooping coming, he's got an ass whooping coming. But I think in the context that fucking Sonny Acosta put it, he's absolutely right. It should be his own people dealing with them. If he's got a DP coming for whatever reason, it should be done by his own gente. Shouldn't be done or allowed to happen by other people of different ethnic groups, because that just makes a bigger thing, because you got people that feel some type of way about that. And that becomes a black and a brown thing. Now, do I think the brothers are tripping? No. They're tired of it. I agree. They're fucking tired of being disrespected. There's a lot of Mexicans that are tired of being disrespected as well. It goes both ways, right? This black and brown thing, man, that a lot of us are trying to swipe over here, man, and sidestep and make into, could all be good. It's a hard thing. It's a hard fight, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people that make things racial. They like that shit. They don't want to fuck with the other people. You notice, man, just like things like the other day, with Dubs, he told a story and it got turned into a big old racial thing. And you don't know how many brothers I talked to behind the scenes, and Dubs also talked to behind the scenes. And there was a lot put out there, and a lot of people utilize any type of static or what they could turn and twist their way narrative. They twist it like a motherfucker. And that happens on both sides, not just one side. And everyone always tries to make things racial and crazy. Now, when it comes to Norbeez, does he have an actual factual green light by the brothers? Well, I don't know. I don't know if they really feel some type of way. If he gets beat up from the feet up again, right? That's on him. But, should other raza condone it and say, hey, get him, fuck him. We're going to sacrifice him. We're going to make him the sacrificial lamb because we don't agree with everything he does. No, it shouldn't be like that. And in the meantime, that's being a little racial in itself. I'm not going to be a hypocrite saying, hey, we're not going to let these blacks beat up a Mexican. No. As men, if a man disrespects another man, I don't give a fuck what color he is. You get your ass kicked. Period. That's just how it goes, right? Now, again, at the same time, there are people that have been incarcerated, locked up in prison, that play by those rules, whether they're inside or outside, because that's how they're indoctrinated. And so it's of an understanding that racial conflict is a very sensitive subject, and it becomes worse if you allow it to become worse. If you participate in the bullshit, then it's going to ignite and become worse. There's hitters on every side. I hear stories, and I wanted to tap into this topic because it's been out there a lot lately. I don't know if it was DW Flame's brother or Brick Baby or whoever these guys, but this old school myth that's constantly thrown around. It was even mentioned in my live yesterday. I laughed about it, right? About Southerners, and now it's leaked from Southsiders to all Mexicans. See, it used to be just Southsiders. Now it's turned into a Mexican thing. And this is being put out there by the blacks. Let's be honest, right? Saying that, and it used to be that Southsiders or Mexicans are allowed to snitch on blacks in prison because a couple rappers said it's that way. Let me tell you something. We are talking about a group who will kill each other over not making the bed right. We're talking about a group in the prison system, Mexicans, that will hurt their own quite viciously over fucking even looking the wrong way. Okay? We're talking about a group, the Southsiders, that do regulations within the prison with weaponry, stabbing their own. We're talking about Norteños one and done. When you're a Northerner, if you think that they're going to be allowed to tell and just kick it, come on now. These motherfuckers can't even go on a wrong yard and stay there for after 3 days. If they go to a yard and stay there around people that the organization has deemed no good, they're whacked. Okay, so that they're allowed to tell on blacks, that they're not allowed to tell on anybody, man. That's a myth. I don't know who said that. That'd be like saying all the blacks are allowed to tell on Mexicans. First and foremost, man, every different black group in prison has a different, I wouldn't say shot caller, but a different OG that they feel that they should answer to. So you're just basically saying every single black OG, from the Bloods, the Crips, the Comies, the whatever, are all on the same page. You know, they're at war at different times on the yards. They're not all on the same page. The only time the brothers are on the same page is when it becomes a racial thing, and then they have to get on the same page. And even then, let me explain this to you when it comes to the brothers, man. Even then, that doesn't mean all of them are going to participate. You know, the brothers are allowed to, you can go to their cell and be like, hey, where it's about to kick off on the yard, it's going up with the Southsiders or with the Northerners. And some of the brothers could say, man, that ain't none of my business. A Crip started that shit. I'm a Blood, man. I ain't going out there. Fuck that. It happens. With the North and the South, they are obligated to go out there. If they don't go out there, if people find out they stood in their cell or they fucking made up a reason to not go out to that yard, they are fucking hit repeatedly over and over again when they do go to that yard. That's the difference in politics. It doesn't mean one people are better than the other. It's just a different standard of politics. It's not a black or brown thing. It's just the way it's played by different ethnic groups. Every ethnic group is different. Okay? Period. It's not racial. It's real. So, getting back to all that, you know, when people start letting prison politics dictate the program on the streets, you know, if you're going to do that, do it all the way. And I say this, when it comes to the black and brown communities, man, it's time for us to integrate more, to stand up to the oppression, to fucking come together and stop disrespecting each other and doing all that, man. Stop believing in these fairy tales that one group is allowed to snitch on another group and this and that, you know, because it's a lie. It's fake. And I would defend the blacks if they said it was the blacks doing it. Fuck no. No group is allowed. No ethnic group is allowed in prison or anywhere to fucking tell on another group and get away with it. Okay? That's just the way it is. Believe it or don't believe it. That's totally up to you. But for the people that are spreading that propaganda around, these guys they don't have documented paperwork to prove that. They can't tell you or show you. They're only going based on what a fucking rapper or a dude said that has some type of animosity on a yard. Anyways, when it comes back to, we'll circle back to the Norbeez thing. Does he have a green light coming? I don't know. You know, he said something that got put out there a certain way, and brothers are feeling how they feel about it, man. I respect them. They're tired. Okay, they are tired of being disrespected by people that are not in the same ethnic group. I understand. And I think Mexicans are also tired, right? So let's be tired together and figure a way out to communicate, to understand that don't make individuals like Norbeez and other people that disrespect the reason that it goes up for everybody, because it shouldn't. And I'm not saying it should. Anyways, with that being said, you guys can read between the lines. There's going to be people that take sound bites and say, oh, Gunner's being racial. I'm not being racial at all. I'm being real. You know, the time for fakery and playing a role like Wes Watson behind the scenes and telling you fairy tales, that shit's over. You're either going to listen to the real or you're not. You're going to recognize the real in someone who has the best interests of all ethnic groups like myself at hand. I want to see everybody win, right? I don't want to see everybody lose, and I don't want to see everyone lose because one dude, Norbeez, makes a fucking mistake and says something. If he has an ass whooping coming, let him get that ass whooping. But do I think it should become a black and brown thing over one dude's derogatory statements? Absolutely not. Because I don't know how many times I've heard whites or blacks also disrespect Mexicans, and I didn't hate the whole race or blame everyone else. I just said that puto got it coming if I ever see him on the 1-on-1 tip, right? And that's it. So all this green light and stuff, man, I've never even heard brothers use that term, green light. We got a green light on this guy. Now I'm starting to hear that. It's like, bro, that's like a Mexican using the N-word, right? It shouldn't be done. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive, the struggle, the struggle, the strive. I'm going to continue to drop dope content, controversial topics, and everything right here on the Gunners Collective TV, because that's just what I do. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. Black and brown. Woods, I got coffee for you. Asians, I love jasmine rice. Usos, pineapples forever, homes. What's up, Soles? And every other ethnic group, respect.